Salvo being that old school Italian. He's a hairdresser, which is true, which is what Sebastian's father also did. He's a hairdresser for female clientele, so he's great with woman hair. So they kept that aspect of it true too. What's going on? Jim Alexander here with Real Talker, and today I'm going to review About My Father. Yes, Sebastian Maniscalco, Robert De Niro. It's a comedy, and we'll dive into it right after this.
My parents are inviting us to the summer place for the big 4th of July weekend.
I can't leave my father.
This is the first summer since we have to say goodbye to your dear mother, and you're going to leave me to burn the sparklers and eat the hot dogs alone.
Why don't we just bring him?
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay, so About My Father, it's clearly a comedy with the people involved. It's really a story about Sebastian Maniscalco, who's one of the best, most famous comedians out there going today, about his father and his family, life. So it was co-written by Sebastian. He stars in the film playing Sebastian. Salvo is played by Robert De Niro. So it's very true to life. It's his experience pretty much growing up in Sicilian household with an Italian, and Sicilian father, and all that comes with it. So it's a inspired by truth of Sebastian's life sort of film. Obviously, at the forefront here, it's Sebastian and Robert De Niro, father-son combo here. Leslie Bibb plays Ellie, the love interest / fiance. About to be fiance of Sebastian, and the story is about Sebastian trying to propose to Allie on a weekend getaway, family 4th of July weekend holiday, and Sebastian's bringing his dad Salvo with, who's eccentric, who's unpredictable, not a cuddly teddy bear type. So trying to have him there for the proposal and meeting of the family. So everyone's meeting the family there. So that's the premise of the film. Pretty simple, straightforward, based on true events of Sebastian's life. And let's break it down here. What happened? I'm not going to give away spoilers, really. Enjoy it, see it. It's a comedy. So Sebastian Maniscalco, obviously a comedian. We've seen him in some films now. He's making that transition. He does a great job. I thought he was natural for someone that's kind of new in a sense to acting in that way. I mean, he's been on stage, so he's performing in front of people for a while and comfortable with that. But he looked comfortable here in this role too, playing himself. It felt natural. It felt like a father-son sort of dynamic, and he wasn't overacting. He wasn't trying to be too much. It was Sebastian, pretty much. A lot of the guy you see on stage, his sort of mannerisms, reactions, very authentic version of himself, which works great for a film like that. De Niro is made it a commonplace, I think, at this point in his career to play these dad roles. Dirty Grandpa comes to mind. He's not as raunchy here or anything like that, but he's snarky and sarcastic for sure. But he's done these father roles. I mean, Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers. He's been doing this for a while. This has been his niche. Gone are the days of Raging Bull and Taxi and all those films that he made a name for himself. I mean, yeah, there's once in a while he'll do a film, but most of these things that he does these days are comedy, playing the grandpa, playing the older father. Yeah, that's sort of his thing. The mobster days are gone, playing the tough guys. But I think he's really established himself in this sort of genre, and he does a fine performance here. You believe him as the father, Salvo. They have a good chemistry between Sebastian and Robert. There's definitely stories I've read and heard that Sebastian's father spent time with De Niro, and it makes sense to kind of capture his essence. So we're probably getting a really authentic version of Sebastian's actual father here too. So it's pretty cool. So in the story, obviously, Sebastian's an only child. The mom passed away, and it's sort of him and his dad only, and that's their bonding time now. Leslie Bibb has been making a return. She used to be, all over the place in a lot of films, but over the years, you kind of didn't see her. I don't know if she took a break from acting, but recently she's been making a return in mainstream films, and she's a great fit to play Allie, who's the opposite of Sebastian and his family. She comes from a wealthy family, the Collins family, who owns hotel chains. They're very kind of upscale, which is the opposite of what Sebastian and Salvo are. They are, kind of penny pinching, cheaper. Although Sebastian, being with Ellie, has grown out of that in a sense. It's still part of his essence, but he's opened up to his mind to a more lavish lifestyle that Allie lives in, and more modern way instead of the old school kind of the immigrant ways of doing things, of saving money, being frugal, doing things, kind of the old country way, old school way, which I can personally relate, having immigrant parents and living abroad too. There's definitely truth and a way that things are done. When you come from humble beginnings, it never leaves you, and that's documented here in this film too. Salvo being that old school Italian. He's a hairdresser, which is true, which is what Sebastian's father also did. He's a hairdresser for female clientele, so he's great with woman hair. So they kept that aspect of it true too, which is pretty cool that they did that. But it's a clash of generations, lifestyles for sure, definitely social classes. And you're more drawn to Salvo's life. He's more of a normal working class, hardworking, everyday person versus the Collins, who are very upscale and bougie and on that sort of way. So interesting characters here too, because Leslie Bibb is drawn to Sebastian because they're kind of polar opposites, and she's an artist in her character here, does paintings and stuff, and she kind of wants to remove herself from her family upbringing and be more self-sufficient. Thought she did a great job. I thought her and Sebastian worked off of each other great. I think the wild cards here are the brothers here of Ellie. We have we have Lucky, who is absolutely a trip. He's the stereotypical sort of basically beyond his time, out of he's a frat boy that's not in school anymore, so still living the frat lifestyle, even though he's well beyond those college years, but he's still sort of a spoiled guy, jerk, douche, all that. So but he kind of steals the show. He's also flies a helicopter around a lot. He's sort of the asshole here in the film, but he's entertaining for sure. So I'll give that to that character, and the other brother too. We're talking about two very eccentric guys here. They're brothers of Ellie, complete opposite of what she is, and add a fun dynamic to what we see here on screen with these guys, because they're just off the wall, like completely off the wall, and crazy. So in that way, but it adds fun interactions with De Niro, kind of going at it with them and kind of subconsciously poking fun at him. So definitely a great performance by Anders Holm, who plays Lucky, and Brett Dyer, who plays the younger brother Doug, who's into chakras and meditation, just really eccentric and weird is sort of individual. David Rashi portrays Bill, the father, and Kim Cattrall plays the mother, Tigger. So fun names there too. So everyone, I thought it was just good casting all around. Everyone fit in their roles and added a layer of dynamic, and that was very offbeat in that way. No problems with acting. I think it was well cast all around. As far as the takeaways, it's an observation. It's your standard comedy. They're not reinventing the wheel. They're not doing they're going pretty formulaic and basic. We've seen those sort of type of films. We've seen performances even like that. So it's a formula that works for comedy, really. Nothing that really stood out. I mean, there's fun moments. I thought I'd be cracking up more though, so it wasn't as funny as I expected to be. They tried to be. They had a lot of one-liners and zingers, but some of them are just like chuckle sort of laughs, or just makes you kind of a smile, gives you a smile, but nothing that you're laughing out loud to. Besides a few scenes, I think that one, it might be in a trailer, is where he's doing those water jets, those things that you put on you stand on. It's like basically you're air flying on water. You'll see it in the film, that whole scene. I don't want to give it away, but it's a funny scene, and yeah, that's probably one of the better scenes of the film. Pretty hilarious what Sebastian does with that, and the exposing that he does, really, as he's learning how to do that stuff. So that's one of the funnier scenes. Yeah, there's other funny scenes, and there's constant humor that's being added. There's a thing about the peacocks, actual peacock, the bird. So stay tuned and pay attention to those. But there's definitely potential for some spin-off characters here. I think Lucky can get one, Salvo for sure. Even the parents potentially here. Definitely Doug can have a spin-off of some sort. So they had enough interesting characters where you can even think of sort of spin-offs that would be fun and just offbeat, or just like SNL sort of sketches of characters that they are in that way. But otherwise, like the observations, yeah, it's funny at times, it's fun. It gives you chuckle and laugh, but nothing like overly hilarious. It's a lot of slapstick stuff. Some cheap comedy there too, cheap laughs and all, but it's okay. It does its job in that way too. It's, as a Chicagoan, and Sebastian being a Chicagoan, and his father too, and it's noted in the film, I thought they did a pretty good impression of a Chicago Italian, or Chicago immigrant for that matter too, so there's definitely a Italian population here in Chicago, that came from Italy and Sicily especially. So I think they could have done more with it. They could have done some maybe standard sort of connections of a stereotypical Italian, but maybe not doing that was good too. But they definitely make note that they're from Chicago in that way. Otherwise, there's not that much takeaway. It's just a fun, near 90-minute, comedy here with some really talented comedians and actors, and storyline wise, it's okay. It accomplishes. It's very basic, formulaic, does its job basically. You know what you're getting with a movie like that. Don't have high expectations, but you're just getting kind of a standard comedy here, and they do a good job at it. So nothing to really complain in that aspect of it. It serves its purpose, and movies like that, always room for that. They're great for date nights and just going out for a laugh. I'm curious to see where Sebastian's going to go acting wise. Is this going to be his sort of launching pad to turn to actor full time now, and away from comedian? We've seen many careers being made. Just look at people like Will Ferrell and Chris Rock. I mean, there's dozens of them who started in comedy or SNL and then turn into mainstream stars. maybe Sebastian has that potential here. He leads this film. It's his story, though, but I could see him leading a lot of different comedies, too. He's just got that likability factor to him, too. So that was a nice sort of mainstream introduction for him in a leading role. And De Niro's basically in that aspect. So not much else to say really about this film. You know, I think if you like a comedy and you want a few laughs here, it's worth seeing. You know, take your girlfriend out or friend, or you know, you have a lot of options to see this movie in that way. I think it's PG-13. There's not that much raunchy. There's raunchy humor, but it's not like Dirty Grandpa was with De Niro. It's not over the top. So expect, you know, a little bit of a subdued level of you know, F-bombs and stuff like that for sure. So yeah, that's my review. Grades wise, we love grades here. So let's do them. Acting for the movie that it is, it accomplishes what it sets out to do, right? So and I thought the actors played their roles well. So I'd give it 8 out of 10. You know, obviously I don't have anything groundbreaking here, but I think they played their roles well, and everyone fit in nicely. Now, entertainment value. Was it entertaining? Yes, it was, but it wasn't over the top funny in that sense. So it was entertaining enough, you know. So I give it like 7 out of 10. I think it's a fair score for that. Plot story, pretty standard also. Not reinventing the wheel, basic, straightforward, which is not bad at times too. You know, sometimes overly crazy plot, you know, it just gets in the way. So let's keep it that way. 7 out of 10 too. You know, I think it's a solid plot and story, what it needs to be. Creativity, did they do anything outside of the box? No, very formulaic. 6 out of 10. I think it's very predictable too. You know where this movie's heading. You know how it's pretty much going to end. So creativity, 6 out of 10. An impression unless me, it's fun. It's all right. So I'll give it another 7. So I think we have a very solid around 70% of a film here, you know, that we're getting here. So which is good. Low 70s percentile out of, you know, the 100 that the scale's on. I think you have a run-of-the-mill, solid, standard comedy here that's, you know, worth seeing if you're in a mood for it. So I'd say, yeah, sure, why not? You know, especially if you're a fan of Sebastian, go out and see it. I think you will enjoy that. So that's it for About My Father. And about Real Talker, make sure to subscribe. Definitely helps when you subscribe. So click that subscribe button. Also, you can follow me on social media at the Jim Alexander, and also at the Real Talker. And that's on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media platforms that you need to hit. And if you like this review, give it a thumbs up. Always appreciate it. And of course, comment. If you've seen the film, you're excited about seeing it, have thoughts on it, fan of Sebastian Maniscalco, De Niro fan, let me know in your thoughts. I love interacting with the comments and hearing different viewpoints and perspectives. And that's it for About My Father. And I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.